Well, good evening to all of you in La Piranta and good morning from San Francisco. I hope you can all see me and hear me. If not, please do send me a message that you cannot hear me through the chat. Um, it's been a rough couple of weeks here in Northern California. We've had a lot of fires and a lot of people lost their homes, and I personally know a couple of close colleagues who have lost their family homes in those areas. We had very bad air quality, lots of smoke here. People were wearing masks and going about the streets. But about 3 days ago, we had our first rains of the winter season. And so now the air is clear and people are getting back to normal. So I hope things are good in La Piranta and your semester is going well. I see only about 15 attendees, and I hope more of them will show up. Today, our topic is to discuss the Tesla case. And as you know, it's one of the most interesting companies in the world right now. So I hope we'll have a good discussion. My plan is to show a couple of videos. There were 4 teams that uploaded videos for this assignment. So I have selected 2 that I will show you in order to generate some discussion. And there was a suggestion last time that instead of showing the videos to you directly, you should be able to review them in advance. So in Moodle, I have posted the 4 videos some days ago. And I want to play the videos again so that it is uppermost in our memory to be able to critique them well. But if you don't like the quality of the video that I'm able to show you through Zoom, you can as well go to Moodle and watch the video. So I'm going to share the screen with you. And if you can see, this is the Moodle page, Seminar 2. And down on the bottom, you have student video presentations on Tesla Motors. So if you click on that, you'll be able to go to the link for each team's video. And you can just, if you prefer, you can watch that on YouTube or wherever they've uploaded it instead of the Zoom video, which may not be as good in terms of audio and video quality. But before we get to that, there's some more administrative issues that I might want to talk to you about. Mainly, it's the issue of the schedule for the rest of the semester. I know some of you were asking about when is the exam and when is the business case. Well, we have been in discussions between Sana Katrina and Hannes and myself. And unfortunately, we still don't have any definitive dates to give you. Your next assignment for the HubSpot case is due December 5th. So the next assignment on the business case will not be before December 5th. It will be after December 5th. And then the final exam will be scheduled after the business case. So whenever that is due. So that's all the information that I have to give you about the dates. But, it is really going to be decided very soon. And then on Moodle and through emails, we will let you know what the dates are. What we know about the final exam is that it will be fully online and it will be a case analysis. So we are working towards that. probably the form of the final exam will be that it will be a time test in Google, in Moodle. So it will be like you've uploaded your cases before in the seminars, but you will have a time test. So Moodle will tell you you can start now and when to finish, and you'll be given about 3 hours to read a new case. It won't be any of the existing cases. It will be a new case, and you'll have to answer some questions on the case, and then Moodle will turn it off in about 3 hours. So we're estimating the time for the final exam will be about 3 hours. So that's what I have in terms of the administration. Uh, Again, you can see the chat message from Hannes. We are all trying our best to agree on the dates, and we will get back to you very soon on this. Let me pause here and see if you have any questions. Either you can use the chat or you can raise your hand and I'll let you speak. So the topic right now is about the final exam and the business case. We don't have all the dates yet. We're working on it and we'll get back to you very soon. So if you have any other questions or feedback on that, please feel free to give us that right now, either through the chat, or if you want to raise your hand, I'll let you speak with a microphone. Thank you, Maria, for your question. The question is the exam going to be individual or will we do it in our teams? And the answer is it will be an individual final exam. Anybody else has any questions or comments about the final exam you would like to ask at this point? Okay, so thank you for your patience with that. We will get back to you with more information. Right now, I would hope that you're able to work on your third case after today, HubSpot. So I will evaluate all your Tesla memos and return them to you by this Sunday, and then you'll have some days to work and submit your final HubSpot case. So now we turn to the topic for today, which is the Tesla case. Again, for those of you who may have joined us a little bit later, the idea is that I want to show you two of the videos that were submitted by student groups. I'm going to first play the video for group number 6. Then I will play the video and then we'll have a discussion on group number 6's video. Then I will play group number 5's video and we'll have a discussion on that. And then we'll throw it open to, we will ask group numbers 7 and 8 to comment on their own videos. We won't have time to show them, but I do hope we'll be able to get into some other questions on the Tesla case that everyone else may have. So that's our plan. And now I'm going to share my screen and show you the video for group number 6. If you prefer, you can go to Moodle Seminar 2, and then there is a link there for watching the video on YouTube, and that may give you a better resolution. But if you're not watching the video on Zoom, I would request you to turn off your microphones or wear some headsets so that we don't get any feedback here. Please stay tuned as I share the video for group number 6. And the thing is that when I'm showing you the video, if you if you don't see or hear it properly and you want to give me any feedback, I'm available on chat, so you can send me a message. And now we begin.
Welcome to Team 6's presentation about the Tesla case. We will first go through a brief overview of the company. After that, we'll focus on the problems company faces, as well as analyze the issues related to them. Finally, we will propose a solution to overcome the problem. On July 1st, 2003, two Silicon Valley entrepreneurs started Tesla, a company which initial goal was to develop a fully electric sports car. 10 years later, Elon Musk, Tesla CEO, announced his extraordinary plans for mass-marketed electric car, a solar energy leasing company, and a fully reusable rocket. Just a few years later,
So I just stopped the video for a moment just to make sure there are no chat messages. I see something in Q&A. Try to mute your microphone. Okay. So I'm sorry, it looks like I turned my microphone off and then the video did not play. So I guess we need to do some troubleshooting here. If I turn off my microphone, you can't hear the presentation. Earlier, the video's audio is coming via your microphone, but there was too much disturbance to follow the speaker. Yeah, why don't everybody go to Moodle and watch the video, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes and then discuss this, because obviously the video is not satisfactory from where I do it. But I do need to play it because I want to watch it myself to refresh my memory. So if you would like to go to Moodle, watch the video for group number 6, and then we'll come back. Let's see, Tanya has raised her hand. Let me go to Tanya. Okay, Tanya, you're allowed to talk. Please speak. I'm trying to unmute your microphone, but I'm not able to do that. Tanya, could you use the chat instead? I'm not able to unmute your microphone somehow. Tanya, I see that you put up your hand, but I want to unmute your microphone. I'm not able to do that. Can you unmute your microphone? If not, can you use the chat box? So again, I'm requesting everybody to please go to Moodle and watch the video for team number 6, and then I'll come back and we'll have a discussion in Zoom.
They can focus on producing more cars since they will have more batteries available as well. For producing more cars, it is fundamental that another car plant is built, since currently the delivery time can be up to 2 years and a lot of quality defects and worker injuries are occurring due to rushing in production. Investing in these 2 plants one at a time will also allow Tesla to start gradually phasing out from outsourcing unique parts that are necessary in their manufacturing process, which will lower their dependence on 1 or 2 original equipment manufacturers.
This strategy will also benefit Tesla, even if the battery production capacity exceeds their own needs for electric cars, which can be the case until the additional car plant is up and running. First, the excess units can be used for other Tesla products, such as the Powerwall. Second, excess batteries can be sold to other car manufacturers that either don't have their own production or lack know-how on how to produce batteries that have similar or better quality as Tesla's. Once the car manufacturing of Tesla is scaled to the demand, the batteries can solely be used for Tesla cars.
Now, Tesla is currently the trailblazer on electric cars. However, many of the big traditional car manufacturers have already announced their plans on developing fully electric cars that can match the performance of Tesla. Volkswagen, for instance, has announced they are investing $50 billion on new plants, electric cars, and autonomous driving between the years 2019 and 2023. Moreover, Volvo, the big Swedish company, has announced that starting from 2019, all of its new cars will partially or fully use electricity. Of course, other big manufacturers are following these strategies as well. For instance, Mercedes-Benz and Jaguar are known to be developing fully electric cars, although exact schedules are currently not known. A good example of a threatening new entrant is Lucid Motors. They announced in 2016 that they are constructing a car manufacturing plant in Casa Grande, which was one of the candidates for Tesla's Gigafactory a few years back. Lucid Motors is more known for battery technology, but they began making prototype cars already in 2014. Lucid is clearly targeting the luxury segment and promise an over 400 miles range on full charge, which is a serious threat to Tesla and their cars. The first car, Lucid Air, is set to launch in 2020, which is a bit over a year from now. The company is currently negotiating for additional funding of over $1 billion. A possible threat can also be autonomous cars that are also being developed currently. For instance, Google is actively developing their autonomous car, which could be a huge competitor once it is ready. This gives Tesla a small window to solve all their issues, because all possible competitors are closing the gap and the advantage they have had in technology will soon be gone. If they don't react quickly, the market will be flooded with competing products. Now, this strategy is almost a must for Tesla if they're going to be the cutting-edge electric car manufacturer in a few years and win over a large share of the market. Investing heavily is always a risk, but all signs in the global economy point to reducing carbon emissions and cleaner energy. The biggest question in this strategy is funding. Tesla's financials are a pretty bad read currently, although the company is valued very highly in the stock market and they have attracted a lot of investors. They have been struggling to remain profitable, which indicates that there should not be excess capital for these kinds of big investments. Attracting additional investments will be crucial for Tesla because otherwise it will be nearly impossible to build a gigafactory and a car manufacturing plant in the coming years. The looming question is, does the market still believe Tesla will overcome its issues and rise to prominence once the production is running smoothly?
Still, it
Okay, so it looks like I've been able to finish viewing the video of group number 6. I just want to give you all a couple of more minutes. If you're watching this on YouTube, maybe you're not done with it. So let me know when everybody's, or if you're still watching the video, please let me know through a chat message so that I can wait for you to finish viewing. So I'm just waiting to make sure everybody finished viewing video 6. I sent a chat message. Please let me know if you're still watching video 6, video of group number 6. So I see a question from Hans on the chat. Question: based on what criteria were the videos showed today selected? So Hans, the answer is that I wanted to show a couple of contrasts between teams on how they may, how the impact of their videos. So typically I'm looking for things that can be critiqued, okay, in a discussion. So it's not that they are the best videos necessarily, but there are issues that we can discuss in terms of the content of their analysis and recommendations, as well as maybe there are some things to be learned from that. So that's the reason that I selected group number 6. And I'm still trying to figure out if everybody has finished watching video number 6. If somebody is still watching video number 6, could you please let me know through a chat message? Otherwise, we will go on to the discussion now. Okay, it looks like everybody has finished watching video number 6. So now I'm going to invite anybody to make a comment on, what they saw in what they liked and what can be improved in team number 6 videos. So is there anybody who would like to begin the discussion? Just raise your hand and I'll try to unmute your microphone so that you can speak. We're now going to begin the discussion on video of team number 6, looking for both the good points as well as some of the things that could have been improved in this video, both in terms of content as well as in terms of the presentation impact. Can you all hear me? Thank you. Thank you, Hans. Thank you, Lisa. So now we are in the discussion part of the video, and I'm inviting people to critique this video of team number 6. What are the points that you liked, and what would you offer in terms of some constructive suggestions for improvement? We can go to the substantive aspects of the problem definition, the analysis of alternatives, and the recommendations. That was the structure for the presentation. What are the things that you liked, and what are some things that could be improved? So if anybody would like to speak, please raise your hand and I'll give you the microphone. Hopefully it'll work. Or you could even write your comments in the chat box. What is it that you liked? And while people are still thinking about it, let me offer some comments. I think that the video was quite nicely done in terms of the clarity of the presentation. I heard a couple of different speakers and they were very polished. Their delivery was very clear. I also liked that whatever commentary they made added to the bullet points. They were not repeating the same bullet points that were on the screen. And that is really a good presentation skill. When you show some PowerPoint presentation, there's no point in repeating what's on the screen, but whatever commentary you make should amplify the points. And I think that was very well done in terms of team number 6's presentation. Let me see if people have any comments to offer from the audience. Were you able to see or hear the video at all? Did you go to YouTube or you just gave up on that effort? Okay, thank you, Lisa. The problem was also well defined. So and then Lisa Ann, I also liked that they had little text in their slides. That way they were not reading from the slides, but you really listened to them. Yes, thank you. The bullet points need to be brief, but the commentary amplifies it. So they did do that well. So let's go to the problem definition for a bit. I saw that they had the following points in terms of the problem. They defined the production problem as the main problem, the shortage of product, the delay in the deliveries. That was the main problem. And then they listed a number of sub-problems. The shortage of lithium was a sub-problem. The supply chain, the quality issues, the fit and finish of the cars is not going great for the Model 3. There were worker injuries, and then they listed also profitability. So, I think it's okay to identify the production problem and the delivery shortage as the main problem. But the sub-problems are foldable into that production problem. So the supply chain issues with lithium, the quality issues, and the worker injuries are all parts of the production problem. So really, you could distill it to two main problems, the production problem and the profitability problem. I think the short-term problem is production, but the longer term is the profitability. And I think both of these are really important. So let's see. Somebody said, yes, Hans said, our idea was that the production problem will also solve the profitability problem. Perhaps, but profitability requires much more of a focus on the financials, right? So you could, for example, solve the production problem by throwing a lot of money at it, but that may not necessarily result in profits. So the production problem, I think, is different. It's a short-term problem, and profitability is the longer-term problem. And just solving the production problem may not result in profitability. You hope it would, but there's a lot more in terms of financial discipline that needs to be exercised. Emma says, I don't think my microphone is working properly, so I'll write here. The video was easy and nice to follow and listen. I think it was very professionally made and they discussed many relevant aspects. One thing I would have liked to hear discussion about is the distribution channels and how the untraditional model of Tesla affects their business and profitability. So there you have it, Hans. Emma has brought up this issue that you might solve the production problem, but the profitability may or may not be affected by the distribution issues. It takes an enormous amount of investment in the company-owned retail showrooms. So that aspect could have been possibly addressed. Okay. If you have other comments, please keep them coming through the chat box. The next thing I want to go to is in terms of Team 6. They had these suggestions that really to solve the production problem, Tesla needs to invest in 2 new factories. One for the production of batteries, a second giga factory, and then they also want to have a second plant for manufacturing. So they've really delved deeply into the production issue. You need to expand the plant, a second plant for manufacturing cars so that there's no delivery shortage of Model 3s, and then to have another gigafactory. And of course, you know, those are good suggestions, but the issue is where will they come up with the investment? Right now, there's a cash crunch. So it's kind of a circular chicken and egg problem. You know, the factories need investment, and currently, you know, the investors are having some doubts about, you know, the future of Tesla, and to have 2 new plants will take a huge order of magnitude of investment. So it's not clear how you solve that circular problem. And then one final issue I have is I did not see any recommendation section. The video kind of ended very abruptly. The first 2 sections were very clear, the problem definition and the analysis of the alternatives, but you know, in terms of the recommendations, I would have liked to see addressed how you're going to finance these 2 new plants that you feel are critical to solving the production problem. So those are my comments on team number 6's video. The other comment I want to make, and this is common to all the 4 videos that I saw this time, is that, you know, you had the voiceover and you had the slides. Everybody had that. But I think it is much more engaging to have the presenters as part of the video, don't you think? You know, so there is some, we saw this in the first case with Amazon. There were some teams who not only had the slides and the voice, but the presenter's face was part of the slides. And to me, you know, whenever you can show the presenters, then it makes it more engaging. So this is just for the future, as you improve your capabilities to do this kind of video presentations. I think it would be good to learn some software like Camtasia, Camtasia, which enables you to have a camera focused on the speaker in addition to the slides being recorded. So that's something I would suggest as a future improvement. Okay, do we have any other comments? Maybe the team members from team number 6, would you like to react to any of the comments that have been made? And again, I'm happy to give you the microphone. If that works, you can raise your hand and I'll try to unmute. But if it doesn't work, then we'll have to use the chat. Anybody else in the class would like to comment on Team 6's video if you had a chance to to view it. Okay, looks like there's no more comments on team number 6's video. So now I want to go to team number 5's video, and I need to review it quickly. So if you would like to do that, and if the Zoom video is not working for you, then please go to the Moodle and click on team 5 video link and go there. Okay, so then we come back in about 15 minutes because that's the length of the video.
Interested in Hyundai Tucson? You should look at the
Hi, everyone. So who are we? We're Team 5. Little brief introduction about who we are. We're a small consulting group that offers complex solutions for our clients, predominantly focusing in the high-tech industry. We're composed of many different teams, and today we're going to be discussing different solutions that we can offer for our case company, Tesla. Our team consists of 5 members. We have Hanna, Sami, Mia, Visa, and myself. I will be narrating the presentation. I'm Bronson. So enough about who we are and what we do, and let's get into the case study now. So we were provided a scenario focusing on our case study, Tesla, and our objective was to provide an analysis based on the case study material. And from this material, we were supposed to identify any or all possible issues or problems that Tesla is currently facing. And from this, we would provide a coherent solution or a course of action that Tesla could possibly take. So in our problem definition, we identified 4 major elements that affect Tesla's business. We have industry competition, technology development, positioning problem, and weak profitability. So from an industry competition perspective, we concluded that the price has decreased for lithium, which fuels the competition in this electric car industry and has opened the doors now for other automobile companies to enter the market. Tesla has done pretty much all of the base work and accelerated the electric car industry, and competitors have only been waiting for the right time to jump into the mix. Since the price of lithium has dropped enough, it has enabled other companies to make greater investments of their own towards battery technologies and start planning and producing their own electric cars. To the technology development aspect, since the beginning, the problem with the electric vehicles has again been this energy storage due to the high prices of lithium batteries and the lack of storing technologies for batteries. But recently, with all kinds of different technological developments, the price of this lithium battery has steadily been on a decline. Positioning problem. For the past few years, there has been little coverage regarding Tesla's positioning. The general assumption has been that the electric car industry is rather small and that Tesla is one of the only solution providers currently in the market. However, recently regarding the positioning and market segmentation of this industry. Competition has been steadily growing, which aims to take Tesla's vehicles head-on. On Tesla's case, they're selling new technologies rather than selling cars. So the challenge now lies that how Tesla can move forward from a unique electric automobile seller to a mass automobile company producer. For weak profitability, we concluded that Tesla's current situation is also its profitability. Obviously, the electric car company has invested quite a lot in its company in the future, but they cannot continue like this path forever, or they will eventually run out of capital. So, stemming from our problem definition, we have a small analysis. We have a funny slide here prepared for everyone with Elon Musk here at the center, and he has these mountain of problems here surrounding him. And these are the circumstances that we feel have led to a variety of problems for Tesla and its CEO. The globe represents competition. So the growth of competition has narrowed down Tesla's opportunities to thrive in the electric car industry. And along with it has come this rapid decline of lithium prices, which has made competition even more fierce, as now competitors have the opportunity to achieve a competitive advantage, especially with having streamlined production, logistics in place, and they have already existing customer base. The suitcase represents our positioning. We feel that Tesla is facing a positioning problem because of their transition from an electric car sales, kind of like a high-tech company that sells electric car solutions, to this high-end mass car producer. We believe that Tesla will not feel as exclusive as before. For example, using their Model 3, this might affect their sales along with other expensive models. As the Model 3 is still rather expensive, there are other options out there. For example, from Nissan. Nissan has now producing this Leaf, which is more affordable. The factory, we are thinking with that more along the lines of logistics. So distribution channels, manufacturing and assembly. It's always a made-to-order product, so that could result in a lot of delays. The customer and the dollar sign are connected. They represent the project delays may leave customers unhappy, and they have even sold their queuing spots out, resulting in a loss of sales and revenue for Tesla. So based on our analysis, we feel that Elon Musk and Tesla as a company might have a challenge coming up in the future. From a strategical aspect, this should be interpreted as a last and clear sign to rethink their own business models and strategies in a new light before Tesla runs out of capital. It's clear that Tesla's strengths doesn't lie in its production of the cars, but rather after several years of development and work with batteries, and especially after investing into these gigafactories in Nevada and pursuing strategic alliances with Pure Energy. Tesla has been able to reduce costs not only across the entire value chain, but also in producing lithium batteries. This is due to the fact that lithium can be mined more efficiently from the ground via new salt water technology, resulting in substantially low prices of the raw materials needed. By means of this, Tesla has managed to get a solid competitive advantage in the lithium battery development, which is like the bottom, it's the baseline for the electric cars. This can be considered a game changer in a way, since Tesla has no possibility to produce cars at the same volume and price that its competitors can at this moment, nor in the future. So Tesla must rethink their strategy and business models by moving more weight onto two other business units, which are solar energy and development of these lithium battery technologies. On practice, Tesla should put all their efforts to development of the lithium battery technology in order to stay ahead of competition and also exploit the opportunity of emerged competition in electric car manufacturing via increased demand of batteries. However, Tesla should not neglect electric car business, but rather keep it up and running despite the issues that they're facing. Sticking along the lines with the strategic focus on the core business, from car manufacturing to battery technology, enables Tesla to achieve market leadership in lithium batteries while still having competitive advantage by means of saltwater technology, and gain a true competitive advantage over others when competitors use Tesla's superior lithium batteries. In addition, it's necessary to form strategic alliances with other larger car manufacturers, for example, BMW, Volkswagen, Toyota, by providing them the most advanced batteries at a decreased price in exchange for tactic know-how in terms of distribution channel, streamlined manufacturing and assembly lines, production and supplier agreements. This knowledge is then utilized to create and develop their own processes of car manufacturing in order to streamline production rates of cars. All in all, Tesla could fund their development of car production and increase the production volumes of cars, generate more sales, and in the long run, improve competitiveness. However, this strategy should be seen as more of a long-term investment in the time span of 5 to 10 years, whereas Tesla would pledge to run car manufacturing businesses by making zero result or even losses. Profits from battery technology business and solar energy would then compensate the other units' losses, making the whole company profitable in the end. We have broken it down into 3 competitive advantage points. So the solar city, the gigafactory, and the strategic alliance with Pure Energy. Tesla acquired Solar City, through which it gained valuable access to this solar power energy tech. Tesla can make use of this knowledge in their electric car charging networks. The Gigafactory brings the company internal battery design and manufacturing knowledge, enabling them more control over their production. And the partnering with the Pure Energy would bring costs of the lithium batteries down, allowing for reduced costs of the batteries in the long run. These are the pros and cons for battery technology, the solar energy, and car manufacturing. So the pros would be that there's huge potential and high market demand, the adaptivity of the batteries to a variety of products, not just only cars, and the market leadership and competitive advantage that could be achieved. The cons, however, the time factor needs to be taken into account, or needs to be taken into consideration about how long it will take this technology to actually become more or less of a concept, competition, and how stable is the partnership between Tesla and Pure Energy, and how reliable and solid is the saltwater technologies. So now that we have successfully identified our problems and provided a sufficient analysis, it's time to present our suggestions for case company Tesla. Our main solution to the problems identified earlier for Tesla is to move the strategic focus of its business unit from the automobile industry to the development of the battery technology and solar energy. It is through these following steps that they could gain a stronger foothold in the automobile industry for the future, while improving the world with advanced batteries and solar energy. So the idea would be to create this lithium battery business unit. Tesla should invest in and develop lithium battery technology through the new saltwater extraction tech by partnering up with Pure Energy. The company could gain market leadership in lithium battery cells by selling the batteries to other car manufacturers. They should step up and gain the leadership position while Tesla still has the competitive advantage through the partnership with Pure Energy. They could also benefit from different strategic alliances with other larger car manufacturers such as BMW, Volkswagen, Nissan, Toyota, etc. By exchanging the electric car batteries for know-how and how to form distribution channels, streamline manufacturing and assembly lines to improve production and create a better overall supplier arrangement. The knowledge gain would be used to create and develop Tesla's own processes of car manufacturing, and in this way, the company's own car business would improve its competitiveness. Then we suggest this solar energy business unit. So Tesla should build upon this solar energy-powered electric car charging network as soon as it's possible to bulldoze the consumer buying obstacle and make buying an electric car more affordable and attractive. With wider selection of electric car base, the need for lithium battery then will increase, which in turn will lead to more sales for Tesla's battery business. Next would be the car manufacturing business unit. So Tesla could focus mainly on the battery and solar businesses and secondarily focus on a niche market of high-end luxury automobiles. In doing so, Tesla would generate higher profit margins and position its brand as a high-end one. Later, then Tesla's own manufacturing process should have or could be more streamlined. That way, they can start focusing more on mass markets. We're Team 5. Thank you for your attention, and we hope that you found our presentation fun and informative.
Okay. So I hope you were able to watch that, but I'll give a couple of minutes in case some people are still watching that video on YouTube. I just wrote a question on chat. Is anyone still watching video of Team 6? If you need me to wait for you, please let me know. Did anyone watch the video that I played on Zoom, and was it better than the first video? I want some feedback. Or was it still pretty distorted? Oh, thank you, Sami. It was better than the first. So the only thing I did different was I pulled out my headset, the headphones, and now I'm just going through the laptop microphone. So that may have been the difference. Thank you, Yanika. Okay, so it looks like you were all able to see the work of team number 6. I now throw the discussion open to their video. Please tell us what you liked about the video. What are some things that we could learn? And if anybody also would like to comment, I thought the animations in the presentation were very entertaining. They kept your attention. Also, I like the fact that they named pros and cons. Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. And the cartoons and the animation was really very engaging. The layout was really nice, Lisa says, and it was easy to follow. Absolutely. So, give yourselves a pat on the back. I'm interested to know if you used any special software for generating those animations and cartoons. If the team could let us know how they did that. I hope it's not a proprietary secret of the consulting company, but if you are willing to share, was it just PowerPoint or did you use any other type of software to generate the animations? Do we have anybody from team number 6 in the Zoom? Okay, Sami says, we used a software called Movely, a free software, and downloaded some pictures from the internet, which we downloaded into the program. Yeah, so I have not heard of this software, but thank you for letting us know. If it's free, it's good for everybody. And then, yes, I did notice there were some stock pictures like of Elon Musk. That was funny, showing him drowning in his picture, in his documents. So good job on, it was a very slick presentation. It even had video, it had music up front. I always think it's very nice in a video to introduce the beginning with some music, because it sets the mood, that this is something easy and you will be entertained in addition to just learning something. So I thought it was quite slick. I had one question on the subtitles. I know that for all the speech that was in the voiceover, there were English subtitles. And I had actually two questions. One is that something that was generated by the software? So you didn't have to type out all the subtitles. And then second, I wanted to ask you why you thought it was necessary to have subtitles in addition to the voiceover. So my question for team number 7. So Hannes has responded to my question. The subtitles might have been generated by YouTube. Is that so? And then the second question for the team is, why did you feel it necessary to have subtitles? Oh, so you're saying you didn't have subtitles in Moodle and this got generated automatically by YouTube. Okay, good. So here's my view on subtitles. I think YouTube generates it automatically because it's a public medium and there are many people who are handicapped. They may not be able to listen, deaf people, for example. And so the subtitles help to get universal access. So it gets you a much bigger crowd. But just for a presentation like this in the class where everybody is, not having, if there's nobody in the audience who has that handicap, I would not recommend having subtitles because it can distract the people from watching or listening to the voiceover. So I'm glad I clarified that. It was not a decision that your team made to have the subtitles. It was automatically generated on YouTube. And there are pros and cons of that, which I hope we should all consider. YouTube usually does it when the pronunciation is good. I would think that the subtitles may be more needed when the pronunciation is not good. But anyhow, so then YouTube automatically generates it. Okay, now let's go to other aspects of the video. There were a number of problems identified and some solutions, and then some nice summary of the recommendations. Let's go to that aspect. What did people notice? Any comments about the problem definition? Let's start there. So again, just to recap, I noted there were four aspects to the problem definition. There was the industry competition. There was the technological development in terms of being able to mine lithium in a more efficient manner. And this is bringing the price of batteries down and lowering the barriers, so you have more competition coming in. The third problem was the positioning problem, how to position Tesla for the mass market. And then the fourth one was weak profitability. They've made such large investments that they need to turn profitable or they may run out of cash. So Lisa Ann says, I think the problem definition was very elaborate and well explained. So in terms of, covering four aspects, they were quite comprehensive. Any other comments on the problem definition? So again, I would, my suggestion is for all the teams to prioritize the problems when you define them, because otherwise it's not clear which is the major problem and which is the minor problem. So for example, I don't see technological development as really a problem. It's really a positive thing, right? That the technology is available to make the mining of lithium more efficient and bring down the price of batteries. So is it really a problem for Tesla? I mean, this whole exercise is that you're a consultant or a staff member to Jeff Bezos. I'm sorry, to Elon Musk, pardon me. You're advising Elon Musk. So from his perspective, what is the priority of the problems? Is the technological development really a big problem? So I would try to restructure this to have it in some order where the most major problem is first, and I think it's either the weak profitability or the positioning which is the major problems, and then the industry competition and the technology development are probably less important problems. Any reactions to that from team number 6? Okay, let's go to the analysis part. They had a number of points here in terms of the analysis. The Model 3 makes the brand less expensive. So is there some dilution in terms of the earlier positioning of it being a very luxury, exclusive brand? Um, they are now getting into, I mean, in addition to car manufacturing, they are very strong in solar energy and battery production. So should they put more effort into the battery and the energy business rather than the car manufacturing? And I think that's a really important issue. But it is so important, I think it might have been part of the problem definition that, you know, Tesla is confused about what should be its strategic focus. Isn't that a major problem that even Elon Musk doesn't quite know the answer to? So I would elevate this issue of strategic focus to be part of the problem definition. And then the analysis can debate the pros and cons of being either a solar energy and a battery company versus being a car manufacturing company. I think the team in its analysis came out on the side of, you know, Tesla should be more of a solar energy and a battery production company, at least in the short term. And then, it should take advantage of the cash flow and the profits from the energy and battery business, and then develop its car manufacturing capability in the long term over the next 5 to 10 years. So any reactions to the aspect of analysis that Team 6 made with regard to the strategic focus? Do you all agree that they should be more focused on the energy and battery business rather than car manufacturing? So again, if I was to wear the hat of Elon Musk, and I would raise the issue of feasibility, that do you think that this suggestion will be appealing to Elon Musk? If you tell him that he has to change the focus from car manufacturing to, battery production and energy, is he going to be receptive to that idea, or is he going to be resistant to accept it? Because he seems to be more in terms of producing electric cars. That seems to be quite a high on his priority list, starting with the Roadster, and then with the Model S and the Model X, and now the Model 3. Isn't he quite committed to making the Model 3 a mass market car? Okay, let's see. SE has a comment. Electric car for mass markets was Musk's dream since the beginning. So I think he wouldn't like that suggestion. So, perhaps that is a good point. And just imagine if you are making this presentation and Elon Musk is in the audience, how would he react to it? Yeah, of course, it's not a bad suggestion. We want you to think creatively and develop ideas that may be contrary to what people want to hear. But then you have to be a little more persuasive. And I think the way to be more persuasive would be to elevate the issue of the strategic focus and say, that's your main problem, Elon Musk, until you decide whether you want to be a car manufacturer or whether you want to be more in the energy battery business, because we are running out of cash and we can't do all the things that you want to do. So I think he would be more receptive to the issues of focus and discipline if they were elevated to that being the major problem. Let's look at what Sami has written. Tesla hasn't been able to turn their business profitable due to lack of challenge in distribution channel, streamlined manufacturing as assembly lines and production and supplier arrangements, resulting in low manufacturing volume of cars. We believe that Tesla isn't able to turn its business to be profitable in the near future, which is why they should turn their focus somewhere else, for example, to battery technology production. Fair enough, Sami, but again, remember they are also pretty new in the battery production and the energy business. So there is a learning curve there as well. And the question is, where is the learning curve steeper? They've already been in the car manufacturing business since 2008 with the Roadster. They've got some accumulated knowledge. And then the battery production they've been doing more recently with the Gigafactory. So it's still not clear that they will get all the returns from the battery and energy business that would make them profitable. So there's still a question of risk versus reward. Hans, the solution makes a lot of sense business-wise right now. However, I think re-entering the car manufacturing later is going to be even harder. Okay, once the big car manufacturers have their electric cars. Right, so Hans is bringing up a good argument that, if you stay out of the car business in the short term, then you're going to get all this competition from Volkswagen and Mercedes-Benz and so on. And so, probably the best thing is to do something in the middle, which is what they've been doing now. They've been doing both the manufacturing as well as the batteries, but try to do more with the focus and discipline. Maybe you don't have as many car models, and I think that's one of the weaknesses of Elon Musk and Tesla is they've been so much, getting into this. One day they say they'll get into trucks and then self-driving cars and then, so many different areas. So I think that continuing in the current path of balancing both the car manufacturing and the battery energy business, but doing it with more focus and discipline might be the way to go. Okay. So any other comments on the analysis and the suggestions from team number 6? They had some very concrete suggestions, which I can just try to summarize. More strategic focus from car business into the battery business, create a lithium battery business unit, partnering with Pure Energy. I think they're already doing this, so they can do more of it. Strategic alliances with BMW, Volkswagen, Toyota, Nissan for manufacturing and distribution know-how. So, this is an important suggestion that you've brought up, but it doesn't quite relate to the problems that you've defined. If you look at the 4 problems that you defined, that didn't include much of the distribution aspect or the manufacturing. It was mainly about industry competition, technology development, and positioning and profitability. So I like this suggestion of trying to learn from the partners how to do better manufacturing and distribution, but perhaps that could have been again elevated in terms of the problem definition. Your whole presentation or memo that you write is more persuasive to upper management if there's a very strong logical link between the problem definition, the analysis, and the recommendations. That means that the recommendations should flow from the analysis and the analysis should flow from the problem definition. If it's not clear what those links are, then it makes your presentation less persuasive. Okay, so any comments about the suggestions? Using the solar energy business unit for charging infrastructure, that's a good suggestion. Secondary focus on manufacturing of high-end electric cars with high profit margin. So again, I think you're still recommending that they continue of the high-end electric cars, but with profit margin. Again, that makes it so complex. You have such a big product line, and one issue I have is if they want to get into the mass market, would they not want to discontinue some of the other products just to bring the higher end products, to bring more focus on discipline? I know it's not clear where the profits are going to be greater, whether it's at the high end or the low end. But if the founder's vision is to bring out a mass market car and make a difference to the world, then perhaps, they might have to, with their cash crunch, discontinue some of the higher end models and focus the resources more on the mass market models. Any other comments anybody has about the suggestions? I like that you broke it down into both short-term and long-term issues. Short-term, more focus on the battery business and high-end cars. Long-term, focus on the mass market car. So anytime that you've given consideration to both the short-term and the long-term shows a more sophisticated presentation or analysis. And I think overall the question is really still one thing that was not very clear is what exactly should Tesla do right now for the Model 3? So this perhaps is something that needs to be addressed. It's good to say we will take our more focus on the energy battery business and so on, but there have to be some recommendations for right now. What do you do? Do you slow down on the Model 3? So that was not very clear at the end. So a little more consideration of all the issues that are really important to to Elon Musk, that could have been a little bit clearer. So any other issues anybody has with Team 6? I think you did a very creative job, very professional presentation, well delivered. But I hope some of the comments here give you some more, again, there's no right or wrong answer, but there are more defensible answers and there are less defensible answers. And when you get to the stage of really presenting this to upper management, you need to anticipate and be aware of all the issues that might come up and try to handle their objections. Okay, I want to close out the discussion on team number 6 and now I want to go to team number 7. I'm not going to show the video, we won't have time, but I want to give a chance to the team 7 members to tell us how their presentation may be similar or different than team number 5 or team number 6 that we saw now. So if there are any members of team 7 in Zoom, could you please tell us? And if you like to use the mic, I can give it to you. What are the highlights of your presentation compared to what we've seen before, either similar or different? Team number 7, please. Do we have any members of team number 7 here? So I guess, is that Lisa? We suggested going to mass markets, but to compete with greener cars than competitors. Okay. So they want to emphasize the Model 3 and subsequent mass market offerings, but the appeal is going to be more to differentiate and make it a greener car than competitors. And how are you proposing to make this a greener car? I think it is very difficult to shortly say what is different from the suppliers, but we mainly focused on the strategic aspect as a problem. Right. So if you want it to be a greener car, then you have to position it appropriately. And I do believe that I did read I did make some notes here that that you call this an all-in-one provider with a green solution, and that you're going to measure people's individual energy consumption and develop some kind of carbon footprint for them, which encompasses both cars as well as energy use in the home and so on. Right. So team number 7 did propose that their new models of mass market cars would have things like solar panels on the roof that could generate its own electricity. But the point that I liked more was that you're going to develop this measurable metric of, what my carbon footprint is. If I drive a Model 3 or one of the Tesla cars, and then I have solar panels from Solar City in my home, and I have the battery storage, then I can really measure my total consumption of electricity. Right. So an app on the phone so people can track all of their electricity use. I thought this was a very creative aspect, that you're using the synergy with the other business units, but you're still focusing on making the car a greener car. I think I really like that aspect. And that way you can become a more differentiated defender and have a customer intimacy strategy. So once you have data on your individual customers, you can become much more intimate with them, and perhaps you can bring out other types of products and services which will help them to be more green. The flip side of that is that you need to target the beachhead correctly. Remember, the theory of crossing the chasm is identify a good beachhead and then develop the whole product. So, I would have liked to see a little more in terms of suggestions or recommendations of the profile of the beachhead. Who are the people who are going to appreciate more the green car? Because now we are not talking about innovators and early adopters. We are going after the mass market, right? So who are the people who will actually like to have this greener car with this kind of metric to measure their total carbon footprint? How do you find those people and target them? Because you really need to find that first niche market, the beachhead, which will help you to get into the rest of the mass market. So I would have liked to see a little more use of the theory of the crossing the chasm in terms of developing the target market profile. But the strategy was certainly creative. And again, team number 7 also differentiated between short-term versus longer-term recommendations, offer discounts to Tesla's waitlisted customers. Absolutely. They are so fed up of waiting and some of them are canceling. So you need to pacify them. Let customers track energy use in your home, portable power banks that can be recharged in the car, advertising as an all-in-one provider. So again, I'm glad you brought in this aspect of advertising and messaging, but the details of who will see the ads and what the value proposition is, probably the value proposition is clearer, but who should the ads be targeted to in terms of the beachhead? What media will be used? That is an important issue to be considered. And longer term, more complete solar panel packages and charging points, so that develops the whole product. Product improvement. At the end of your video, I saw product improvement ideas. Solar panels attached to the roof of the car, wireless phone charging, more energy efficient lights, environmentally friendly materials in the car body. It wasn't clear to me whether these are the short-term recommendations or the longer-term recommendations. They were just at the end. So maybe you can think of, again, those product improvement ideas could be separated into things that can be done immediately in the short term, and then some things that will take longer. For example, the substitution of materials in the car body. So again, I really liked the presentation, and while I could not show it, I think they had some really creative ideas. So anybody else would like to, if you reviewed the Team 7 video before today, you might have some notes. Anybody would like to make any comments on Team 7's video? And then we had Team 8. So if we have any members of Team 8, could you again point out some highlights of how your presentation was similar or different to any of the other 3 presentations? Do we have any members of Team 8 in Zoom? So any members of Team 8, could you tell us how your presentation was similar or different to any of the other 3 presentations? So I'm not sure that there's any members of Team 8 here, but let me summarize from my notes about their presentation. They had an interesting variation of the structure. Instead of listing all the problems, doing the analysis and the recommendations, they identified 3 problems, and for each problem they did the analysis and the recommendations separately. So they had problem 1, analysis 1, recommendation 1. Then they had problem 2, analysis 2, and recommendations 2, and then they had problem 3, analysis 3, and recommendations 3. So it was a variation, but that's fine. Again, you have to exercise your own creativity, and it's fine to deviate a little bit just in the interest of trying to make things more simple. So the first problem they identified is, what is Tesla and for whom does Tesla exist? The lack of clarity in the business model. this is I think the strategic focus issue that Team 6 also addressed later, but it wasn't in the problem definition. I think this team 8, has done a good job of saying the most important problem is what is Tesla and for whom does Tesla exist? It's the lack of strategic focus. And, the second problem they listed was the trouble in the supply and distribution. So the waiting time, the production issues and, the delivery issues, that's the second problem. And the third problem was that it's close to bankruptcy. There's new cash flow needed, and how long will investors trust the company and keep investing in it? So I think they've done a good job in, identifying the three major problems. Again, do we have any members of Team 8 here who would like to make any comments on the problems they define? Okay, then the analysis of problem 1, which was the lack of strategic focus. There's the brand and identity issue. They're changing from the luxury car market to the mass market. So how to do that in terms of repositioning, that's a challenge. And unfortunately, in the recommendations for problem 1, they didn't take a stand on where to focus. They identified the correct issue and they analyzed it in terms of, brand repositioning is required, but they didn't quite come up with a recommendation of how do you now reposition the Model 3 as a mass market car. They just made a general recommendation, create a corporate group for wider operations, product, customer segments, and tax benefits. And my question is, they already have a corporate group, so why do they need another one? In terms of analyzing problem 2, which was the problems of production and supply and distribution, they want to have an efficient distribution channel and shift from the direct model to a hybrid model, which is creative. I think as you go towards the mass market, you need more distribution, you need wider distribution. So making use of direct and indirect channels is very important. If Tesla just continues with its exclusive showrooms and direct distribution, it may not be able to distribute to the mass market adequate quantities. So again, the issue was correctly defined, but they didn't really recommend how to implement the hybrid channel. In which places should they have a direct channel? In which places should they have an indirect channel? Remember, if you were presenting this to Elon Musk, he would like to know what are some of the implementation details. So not enough to just recommend at a very high level, they should get it to a hybrid channel. But which parts should be hybrid, indirect, and which parts should be direct, that needs to be addressed. And then in terms of the third problem, which was their lack of cash flow and how close they are to bankruptcy, they said that the recommendations were that Model 3 needs to have better gross margins. So they need to lower per unit costs, be more transparent with investors, avoid over-promising and under-delivering. I think this was a very, very important recommendation that this Team 8 made. Kudos to them for doing that. I think one of really Tesla's biggest problems all throughout its history has been that they have been over-promising and under-delivering. So they really need to stop making too many statements, building people's expectations. And they further recommended that Musk needs more professional help They need key financial personnel to keep Musk in check and to focus on long-term financing, and even hiring an experienced COO. I think these were the best recommendations I saw in this presentation because they are very tangible and they're very helpful to Elon Musk. You know, he's right now, I think he's overworked. He's being pulled in so many directions, and he's, you know, exhibiting some erratic behavior, and that doesn't go well with investors. So the focus and discipline can be facilitated by having more management help in the finance area and in the operations area. So I like those recommendations. So team number 8, if there are any members, would you like to make any comments, or anybody else based on my summary of their presentation? Were there things that you liked and the things that could be improved? Would anybody in the audience like to make any comments about Team 8's video? Either you've seen it before or just from the summary that I presented to you. Again, I'm sorry that there's nobody from team number 8 here. So giving a discount on Model 3 would mean taking a big hit on profitability. I think the idea, Hannah, is that the discount would be given only to those people who are still waiting for their deliveries. And so it would be limited to those people who have already booked in advance. It would not be a discount for all Model 3s going forward. Well, maybe we wouldn't know until we know what the amount of the discount is, and there would have to be some financials worked out. But at least it's a marketing oriented approach to try to pacify customers, trying to retain them rather than switching. But that was a good comment. Any others would like to make any comments? Emma, regarding what the professor just said, we didn't even mention this in our paper, but I just got into thinking of it, that a good solution or suggestion for Tesla would be actually hiring a more competent CEO, as this is a natural step. Well, actually, Emma, this was the suggestion of the team number 8, not to have a CEO, but to have a chief operations officer and to have somebody with a lot of financial experience. And, you know, again, I don't think the board or Elon Musk is ready to give up the CEO position. I don't know if you've been following some other news lately, but, you know, Elon Musk made some tweets where he said that he would take the company private, and that some private financing had been arranged, and then later it turned out that there was no private financing arranged. So the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the government agency in the US which tries to prevent false and misleading information from being given to investors, they have fined Elon Musk $20 million, and they've also made him step down as the chairman of the board. So very shortly, Elon Musk is not going to be the chairman of Tesla, but he will continue to be the CEO. So yes, at some point, if he continues to, you know, be quite arbitrary and the performance of the company doesn't improve, it's possible that the board may fire Elon Musk in the future. But currently, he has a very strong position with the board, and he will remain CEO. yes, he's not ready to step down, but the fact is that he might be the best car seller in the world, but the worst manufacturer. Yes, and that's why the suggestions to have a good chief operations officer and some good chief financial officer that would exercise those disciplines. And a good friend of Elon Musk is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, he's the one of the wisest people in the global business as we know today. And he's told him in conversations that went public that he needs to really delegate. Elon Musk needs to trust people and delegate, because otherwise he will face stress and burnout. Okay, so thank you for the comments. We still have a few minutes left. I want to give a chance to anybody to raise any other questions about Tesla that we may not have covered in these presentations, or they may not be directly related to the case. But if you have any issues you would like to raise about Tesla in the last 7 minutes, this would be a good time. Okay. What do you, Professor, think they should do? Okay, thank you. Thank you for asking for my opinion. Again, I just want to say that it is only an opinion. It is definitely not the right answer. Nobody knows the right answer. Not even Elon Musk. But, if I combine the theoretical knowledge and the experience that I have, I would have to say that the most important thing is to get the strategic focus right. And, my view is that it has to be the strategic focus has to be on continuing to be a mass market electric vehicle. Enormous investments have been made. The whole world knows how important climate change is. And, I think we need visionary companies and visionary leaders to lead the charge on that. Otherwise, we will never get to that stage of mass market. 100-year history of internal combustion tells us that we are ruining the planet for future generations, and governments can't do things by themselves. So I think I look on Tesla as more than just a shareholder maximizing company. I think that he has a vision, he wants to make a difference, and he wants to change the habits of people driving. So getting into mass markets is the right approach. Getting into self-driving cars is the right approach. And I would not change their focus away from that. Now, of course, it does help that they have the synergy with the other business units. So they should definitely continue to work the supply chain and the production problems. I like the idea of partnerships to help to supplement capacity. If they could get some of these established players to help them with the manufacturing know-how and with production capacity, distribution capacity, that would be great. But there's also the problem of incentives, that each company wants to do things on their own. Nobody is willing to even standardize batteries currently, because they are thinking, the other companies are thinking more about shareholder value maximization. Everyone wants to make profit and everyone wants to reward their shareholders. We are not thinking in terms of the whole industry, trying to form a coalition and saying that we need to do something that will help the whole planet. So this is my view, and I think Tesla is willing to do that. They've demonstrated that all of their patents are publicly available. He's tried so many ways to improve infrastructure and to try to standardize batteries, license it out. They've licensed their technology to so many companies, but they've all been short-lived, because Toyota canceled the partnership, Daimler canceled the partnership, and now the whole industry is going all in different directions. And I think Tesla is the one that could become dominant if it continues to address the problems of strategic focus and production and scale up gradually. A big thing I think is the problem that Team 8 identified: stop making statements that raise the public's expectations. Always remember, in marketing, it's better to under promise and over deliver. So what if it takes more time to deliver? Let it be 2-3 years. Let's scale up gradually, have some focus and discipline. But if we tell people, oh, we are getting into trucks and we are getting into this and we are getting into that, that really is a lot of hype, and it will make the situation more complicated. So I think Tesla needs to do a better job of just communicating with all its stakeholders. So again, that was a kind of long answer, but I hope that that gives you some sense of where I'm coming from. Anybody else would like to raise any issues or comments? So again, kudos to all the 4 teams that made good video presentations. I know that it's not easy. It takes a lot of effort to do the recordings and to do the editing and so on. But I can tell you that it is a skill worth developing, because we're all, as marketeers, we are going to need to do some kind of video marketing at some point. And I hope we're able to get you to practice those skills in this course. So with that, I'll sign off for today. Again, I will give you feedback on your individual videos and memos by this weekend. And then I will see you back on December 12th for Seminar 3 on HubSpot. In the meantime, please stay tuned for some announcements on the dates of the business case and the final exam. Okay, so Hannah has one question. Go ahead, Hannah. Yes, Hannah, I'm here if you want to ask me a question. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Hans. I think the next case is due on December 5th, but the seminar in which we will discuss it is December 12th. Hans. So, you know, I think we will not start the business case until you're done December 5th with the HubSpot case, but it will be sometime after December 5th. So again, we haven't finalized the date of when the business case is due, but it's likely to be within a week or so of December 5th. And then there will be the final exam after that. So Hans, please stay tuned for the dates. Yes, we are running out of time, and I empathize with you. No, on 11th of December, we don't have an exam. We might want to do a test with some of the team captains on how we are going to administer. And that's one of the reasons for the delay, is we have not done any fully online final exam. So we need to do some testing using Moodle and Zoom. And that's the proposal. But again, you know, stay tuned, because that 11th of December is not final. We are going to send you more information on how to do that practice. And only the team captains will be involved. Okay, then I don't want to keep you longer than the time that we have allocated. So good night to you all in Lapiranta, and I wish you another good 2 weeks of study and learning, and see you back on December 12th. Bye-bye.